There was no other way for this war to end.
Seeking to cement his legacy in his final days in the White House.
Thank you.
Folks, credit for this, Mr. President, you or Trump?
Is that a joke? Oh.
But Joe Biden's successor was also quick to claim the political victory. Donald Trump arguing the deal was only made possible by his election win. The president-elect had claimed there'd be hell to pay if hostages being held by Hamas weren't released by the time of his inauguration. His incoming Middle East envoy was brought in to work alongside Biden officials in the final stages of the ceasefire talks.
It's critical that all of the parties to the agreement and the other mediators see that when the United States is in the room making commitments, those are lasting commitments that extend beyond this administration.
Israel's Prime Minister thanked Donald Trump for his help with the agreement, saying they plan to meet in Washington soon, as leaders from around the world welcomed the milestone.
This agreement is a constructive step towards peace and stability in the region. Today must mark the beginning of a new chapter for the Israeli and Palestinian people.
Our priority now must be to ease the tremendous suffering caused by this conflict.
The conflict in the Middle East presented one of the biggest challenges of Joe Biden's presidency. And in a speech farewelling the American people, he argued it was his team that had got the ceasefire deal over the line. But he also used the address to deliver a warning about the future of the country he'll no longer lead.
Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy.
The comments appearing to reference the tech bosses who've aligned themselves with the president-elect.
Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking.
His final public message from the Oval Office as a single term in power comes to an end. Jade McMillan, ABC News, Washington.
This ceasefire is a mere band-aid on a patient in intensive care. At the heart of this conflict is Israel's continuing insistence that it should militarily occupy the Palestinians rather than allow them to have their own state. In 1947, Australia's Doc Everett led the push at the United Nations for two states, a Jewish state alongside an Arab state. Those wanting to form Israel willingly signed off on that. But now the Israeli leadership is implacably opposed to it. In 2006, then Australian Prime Minister John Howard said, "Australians want the fighting to stop, and Australia also wants everybody to address the root cause of the problem, the settlement of the Palestinian issue." And at the heart of the Israeli-Palestinian issue is Israel's occupation of the Palestinians. More than 3 million Palestinians in the West Bank wake up every morning under a military occupation they don't want. Israelis will not easily give up the occupation. That would mean giving up land in the occupied Palestinian territories that Jewish settlers have taken and often hold on to at gunpoint. This new ceasefire yet again presents a fork in the road. The choice is clear. A political solution with security for both sides, or a forever war, which will continue to kill civilians in their thousands.